Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about your chapter number 6. We are going to start the chapter General Principles and Process of Isolation of Elements. Lecture 1 it is, and it is ore and their concentration. Right. So here we are going to discuss this chapter. General Principle and Process of Isolation of Elements. 7 metals of antiquity, as they are sometimes called gold, copper, silver, lead, tin, iron and mercury. These are very important metals, we know. This general information here I share with you from your NCERT book. A few elements like carbon, sulfur, gold, noble gases occur in free state, while others are found in combined form in the earth crust. Among metal, aluminum is most abundant metal. Most abundant metal is aluminum. Most abundant element in earth crust is oxygen and then silicon, but most abundant metal in earth crust is aluminum. It is third most abundant element in earth crust. Iron is the second most abundant metal. Minerals are naturally occurring chemical substance in the earth crust. This is very important to know. What are minerals? Minerals are naturally occurring chemical substance in the earth crust and are obtained through mining. Out of many minerals in which a metal may be found, only a few are able to be used as a source of that metal. Such minerals are known as ores. An ore is rarely contain only a desired substance. It is usually contaminated with earthy or undesired material known as gangue. I can say that mineral which is used for the extraction of metal by manufacturers, so it is profitable, inexpensive, is known as ore. All minerals never be ore, but all ores are mineral. Remember it. Now, ore is naturally rock or sediment that contain one or more valuable mineral, typically metal that can be mined, treated or sold at a profit. Here I am going to share some name of minerals of various metals like calcium, dolomite, calcite, gypsum, fluorspar, asbestos, strontium, strontianite, celestine. Right? Copper, this is very important. Cuprite, Cu2O. Copper glance is Cu2S. Copper pyrite, which is most important ore of copper, CuFeS2. Right? Silver, this is ruby silver, Ag2S, Sb2S3. Horn silver, AgCl. Calverite, CuTeO2. One more copper ore is called malachite copper. You can write it malachite copper, which is basic copper carbonate. CO3.CuOH ka whole twice. It is one more important, it is not mentioned here, so remember, you can write it. Right. Zinc is important metal. Zinc blende, zinc sulfide, zincite, zinc oxide, calamine, zinc carbonate. Mercury, this is cinnabar, HGS. Tin, cassiterite, most important ore. Lead, this is galena, PbS. And iron, hematite, limonite, magnetite, siderite, iron pyrite, copper pyrite. These are ores of iron, but the most important is hematite, Fe2O3. Uranium, which is pitchblende, U3O8. You can see ore of sodium also, but the important is aluminium, bauxite, Al2O3.2H2O. Feldspar, KlSi3O8. Cryolite, Na3AlF6. Kaolin. So these are some important ores generally observed or but out of these we must know ores of copper, aluminium, zinc, iron, right? We must remember the name of them also. So these are ore. Ore is naturally rock or sediment that contain one or more valuable mineral, typically metals, that can be mined, treated, or sold at a profit. So ore consists a particular metal in significant concentration, and the extraction, purification of that metal is profitable, inexpensive for manufacture. That is called ore. That mineral is called ore. Remember. Now, occurrence of metal. The entire scientific and technological process used for isolation of the metal from its ore is known as metallurgy. That whole steps, that all steps which is used to extract metal, to reduce metal in their elemental pure form, is known as metallurgy. It involves three important steps. One is concentration of the ore, and the second is isolation of the metal from its concentrated ore, and third is purification of metal. We'll discuss one by one each. So the first point is concentration of ore. Removal of unwanted material from the ore is known as concentration, dressing, or benefaction. Before proceeding for concentration, ores are grinded and crushed to reasonable size. Methods of concentration. One is called hydraulic washing. It is just like gravity separation. Method based on difference between specific gravities of ore and the gangue particles. You can see the crushed ore we can put here, and the water streams coming out from here, and then this is sloping table. So the all light impurities came in this container, and the heavy metal remain at this sloping table. The lighter gangue particles are washed away and the heavier ore particles are left behind. Example, ores of iron and tin can be concentrated by this method. The other one is magnetic separation method. This is based on difference in magnetic properties of the ore component. The powdered ore is dropped over a conveyor belt which moves over a magnetic roll. This is magnetic roll. So what will happen? Magnetic remains attracted toward the belt and fall close to it, and that non-magnetic impurities remain here, or vice versa is also true. If the impurities are impurities are magnetic substance, in that case they remain as ever. So magnetic substance remain near the roll, and the non-magnetic substance away from the conveyor belt. In case of hematite, that ore is magnetic substance, and gangue is non-magnetic substance. But in case of tin, cassiterite consists some wolframite impurities, FeWO2, TiWO2. Wolframite is actually tungsten impurities, and these impurities are magnetic substance. So they remain that roller, near to the roller, and that cassiterite ore remain away from the roller. So that all depends on the magnetic properties and difference in magnetic properties of ore components, right? The third method, which is very useful method, which is known as froth flotation method, is used for removing gangue from sulfide ores. In this process, a suspension of the powdered ore is made with water. Collector, activator, and froth stabilizer are added to it. What will happen? We'll discuss further. Copper sulfate acts as activation in froth flotation process, because copper ion has great tendency to get in froth. Collector like pine oil, fatty acids, xanthates, etc. enhance non-wettability of mineral particle and froth stabilizer stabilize the froth. Collectors are used to collect froth and stabilizer stabilize froth. The mineral particle will become wet by oils while the gangue particle by water. A rotating paddle agitate the mixture and draw air in it. You can see this paddle rotate regularly. Two different diagram I have given here so you can understand better this process. This by this way this agitate, and also by this agitator air, compressed air passed at high pressure. As a result, froth is formed which carries the mineral particles. The froth is light and skimmed off and then dried by recovery of ore particle. Sometimes it is possible to separate 2-sulfide ore by adjusting proportion of oil to water by using depressant. Sometimes 2-sulfide ore remains. In that case, it is required to separate both. So first we use depressant, or sometimes we require to separate one. In case of ore containing zinc sulfide and PVS, the depressant NaCN is used. NaCN react with zinc sulfide, and then in that case zinc sulfide remain in water layer, aqueous layer, and PVS come out with the froth. So in case of metallurgy of galena it is used, and it is also used in case of metallurgy of zinc sulfide, a zinc blende, or to extract zinc. So in that case first we remove PVS and then we remove zinc sulfide. We will discuss metallurgy of zinc sulfide in further portion, so we can understand that. Now, so the fourth method is leaching. It is often used if the ore is soluble in some suitable solvent. Following example illustrate the procedure. Leaching of alumina from bauxite. Bauxite is the principal ore of aluminum. It is usually contain SiO2, iron oxide, and titanium oxide as impurities. So what we do, we digest this bauxite ore with sodium hydroxide and aqueous form of sodium tetrahydroxide aluminate form. This present in solution is neutralized by passing CO2 gas, and hydrated Al2O3 is precipitate. At this stage, small amount of freshly prepared sample of hydrated Al2 is added to the solution. This is called seeding, and induce the precipitation. So what we do, we need to do digested with Al2O3 digested with NaOH. So we would get NaAlOH ka whole for aqueous transparent solution. But when we pass CO2 through it or dilute it, and we add Al2O3 small amount and also in it, so we would get Al2O3.XH2O precipitate, and on heating that substance we would get Al2O3 plus XH2. So from impure Al2O3 in beginning we will get pure Al2O3 at the last. Here this is impure one and this is pure one. Other examples in metallurgy of silver and gold, the respective metal is leached with a dilute solution of sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide in presence of air, which supplies O2. The metal obtained later by replacement reaction or displacement, we can say. Here this is impure metal, and when it react with sodium cyanide like substance, potassium cyanide like substance, in that case it forms this compound. And when zinc react as a reducing agent, it reduce M from the solution, and we would get this. Generally M is silver or gold, and this method is known as cyanide or MacArthur Forrest process for extraction of gold and silver. Isolation of metal from its concentrated ore is the next step. And in this step there is two important steps, sub-steps are there. One is conversion to oxide and then reduction. A is conversion to oxide and B is reduction of oxide to metal. During conversion of oxide, two very important process included. One is called calcination and other one is roasting. These two processes are contrasting to each other. In calcination, wherein calcination involves heating in absence of air, in roasting involves heating in presence of air. A calcination is used for carbonate, oxide ores, sulfate ores. So, water, vapors, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, arsenic, sulfur, phosphorus vapors form vapor and remove from the ore also. So this is also used for that also. But the gases, what we would get in gases from carbon dioxide, water vapors, vapor of volatile element, etc. Ores turn porous after this process. The process is generally used for oxide carbonate, as I already mentioned. Roasting, the ore is heated in a regular supply of air in furnace at a temperature below the melting point of the metal. In this process, impurity evolved in gaseous form as SO2, water vapor, gaseous oxide of element like arsenic, sulfur, phosphorus. So there's gaseous oxide. And calcination, no gas such oxides. Ore turn porous again in both the process, because gases arise from the bulk of the ore. In that case, in both the process, ore become porous. This process is generally used for sulfide ores. In the next, the reduction of oxide to metal can be done by various methods. We will see in next lecture.